A very warm welcome to you. I am glad you could join us on the program this week. Don't forget that we remain your source for all the latest happenings in the world of business. My name is Lucy Iyambi. You are welcome. On the lineup this week, we bring you excerpts from our exclusive interview with Mr. Fola Daniel, former Commissioner for Insurance and the Managing Director of FBS Reinsurance Limited. He spoke to journalists on the sidelines of the recently concluded 49th AIO conference on the operations of the company, which started business in 2020. According to him, there is still a dearth of capacity in the Nigerian market. Take a listen.
The missing link is still the capacity. There's surplus capacity to take, but the number of reinsurers, we don't have enough capacity. We have the huge oil and gas, we see our aviation that is fast growing, and so on and so forth. So there is still the dearth of capacity in the market.
On the lineup this week, we will also bring you highlights from the 2023 Cybersecurity Summit in Lagos. The Cybersecurity Summit is the annual gathering of CISOs from leading enterprises, cybersecurity experts, and elite ethical hackers from across the West Africa sub-region. The 2023 edition of the summit was organized under the theme, Building a Secure Digital Future at the 4 Points by Sheraton. As always, cybersecurity experts from leading companies were in attendance. Let's check out excerpts from the event.
Education of customers is continuous. It's not something that you just say you budgeted, you did in January and you forgot about it. No, it has to be continuous because new tricks are coming, new ways of exploiting the human weaknesses are coming. As they come, you need to tell your customers, because if you don't tell them, they won't know that is their problem. They will now go to social media and spoil the bank name. Say, this bank, this is what they are doing. They are conniving to defraud their customers.
What more can I say than to urge you to sit back, relax, and enjoy the lineup. Details in just a moment. Please stay with us.
Performance was fair. We thank God that we achieved what we achieved, but that's not where we are going. We can do a lot better. But we thank God. The market has been supportive. We have enjoyed tremendous goodwill beyond my imagination. So we thank God. We thank all of them. I think we got 16.5 billion only. PBT is about 3 billion plus.
And PAT became?
About almost 3 billion because we took 30% of the profit before taxes.
Okay.
Premiumbeat.com.
The missing link is still the capacity. There's surplus capacity to take, but the number of reinsurers, we don't have enough capacity. We have the huge oil and gas, we see our aviation that is fast growing, and so on and so forth. So there is still the dearth of capacity in the market. The existing companies can build more capacity by additional capital. Okay? More capacity can also evolve as a result of new entry. But getting a license, it can take a while. Not under this current regime. The present regime we have is more business friendly. But we waited for 3 years before we got a license for no reason.
Premiumbeat.com.
When we came in, we had capacity gap. So one of the value we've brought to bear is reducing the capacity gap. The other one is FBSV means for better service. We want to do things differently from the way other reinsurers will do their business. What do you mean differently? Whereas it can take other reinsurers 2 months to respond to a cash call, we can't afford that. We respond to our cash call in 48 hours. All things being equal, meaning all documentations are okay. So, and that is beginning to impact the market. Say, hey, why are we looking for big names if small names are giving us what we want? Because the taste of the cake is in the eating, isn't it? So we're trying to provide that kind of service. One other thing we do is when you offer us a business, it can either be yes or no. You can give a yes in 1 day, 2 days, 3 days. In our own case, we must give a yes or no within 1 hour. If we want to take a business, yes, we're taking 5%, 1 hour. If we are not taking, we respectfully say we don't have appetite for this business. You get it within 1 hour. To ensure that the broker offering us a business or the insurer offering us a business can find quick alternative. Because if you create a gap between when a business is offered to you and when you accept, there can be a loss that becomes uninsured loss. We don't want to be part of uninsured losses.
Premiumbeat.com.
The operations of nature of reinsurance. The reinsurers do not use multitude to operate. They use very small number of staff that are well trained and technologically driven. We started 2 years ago. Already our our finances is IT driven. Our technical software was given to Eurobase, it's a United Kingdom based IT company, and it will be deployed by end of June. So by end of June, all our operations are IT driven, and every staff, including me, must be able to use IT to drive the business so that we can gain speed, we can gain accuracy and efficiency. If I can generate 16 billion in 2 years of operation, that does not look like a rejection. And I said to you up front that we have enjoyed tremendous goodwill beyond my expectation. This goodwill is from Nigerian companies, but beyond Nigeria, our acceptance rating in Ghana is very good, very good. And indeed, the rest of West Africa. We're also extending gradually, rapidly in other parts of Africa, East Africa, Southern Africa, not South Africa, Southern Africa. And we're looking at the North Africa. Their risk profile needs careful study. So we're looking at it so that we don't burn our capital.
Premiumbeat.com.
The truth of the matter is that the local content is 70%. That's 70% of what? Nobody knows. But in most there are risks that we can take 100%. Small aviation, small oil and gas. But when you talk of multi-billion-dollar business, you can't take 70% of it. Nigerian insurance industry cannot take 70% of what is on offer in oil and gas. But I also qualified it by saying that for small, because when the law says 70%, there are cases where we can take 100%. If the sum insured is only $100 million, we can take it. If the aircraft is below $150 million, we can take it. And then share among us. But when you are having $1 billion value at risk, oil and gas, we can take 70%. So the 70%, our capacity to take 70% is relative. In other climb, They don't prescribe how much you can take. It's a free flow. I do not discuss or criticize acts of parliament. I'm just telling you that is what it is. Well, for any law, there's always room for amendment, adjustment, or improvement. So, in Nigerian content law, definitely will fall within the realm of possible adjustment and amendment. But I offer no criticism of that act. Regulation of insurance industry and playing a game as a reinsurer are two different ball games. The only influence, the only thing that is rubbing off on what I'm doing presently is that I'm 100% 360-degree compliant. Yes, I cannot afford to be fined. It makes me conscious of the need to be compliant. And I say to my staff, please go ahead and breach Nikon rules. I don't have a problem. I will not beg anybody. I won't talk to the commissioner or anyone, whoever. The tendency is there, oh, it's former commissioner, we can do what we like. No, I will not accept. We have a new leader in Nikon, and we must abide by the rules to make his tax easy. And thank you for giving support to Nikon. I can see Nikon positively in the news because the commissioner we have is the person we need to support. If the man has any fault, it's because he's too kind. And I used to joke with him that, oh yes, you are not selling ice cream now, be fair.
For us, insurance is the game to be. I mean, Nigeria mirrors the African continent, right? I mean, Nigeria is a measure of what Africa is. So if Nigeria is lagging behind, Africa is lagging behind. And if Nigeria is leading, then Africa is leading. And I think that the insurance market in Nigeria is much more sophisticated, much more redefined than other markets around Africa. Now, when you talk about technology, others might have imported their own technology, but our own technology is inbuilt. Our own technology is in the spirit. Our own technology is in our DNA, right? The way we approach the insurance market, we approach it in a way and manner that speaks to the human spirit, to the African spirit, to the Nigerian spirit. So we redefine insurance in our own special way in Nigeria. And in doing that, we also get the technology that drives us. We don't import technology from Nigeria. In Nigeria, we know what we want to do. Then we take the technology to drive what we want to do. In other markets, they take technology, they don't know what they want to do. They just bring in technology and use technology to run their business. So for us, it is that we understand the market. We are going to take on the market into our DNA. We're going to respond to the challenges of the market. And in responding to those challenges of the market, we're going to do that through two ways, through innovative products and using technology to drive those innovations. That is what we want to do in the market. It doesn't matter the challenge that we have had in the past. And to inform you, most of the markets we play in, we are the leaders in those markets, whether innovation, whether product, whether people, whether profitability. We're just 5 years in the market, but we know what we've done in asset management, we know what we've done in investment management, we know what we've done in investment banking, and right now we own the infrastructure bank. I mean, that tells you what we have done in the market space. Likewise in the insurance, International Energy Insurance is a company that people used to know, but somehow it's off the radar. We're bringing it back to the radar. We're going to seize the market, we're going to redefine the market, and we're going to own the market.
All right, welcome back. Moving on, we now bring you highlights from the 2023 Cybersecurity Summit held here in Lagos. In today's business environment, the fear of cyber attacks is palpable, especially in the financial service sector. The Cybersecurity Summit was therefore a learning experience for attendees. Happy viewing.
The Nigeria Cybersecurity Summit is an annual gathering of Chief Information Security Officers, CISO, from leading enterprises, cybersecurity experts, and elites ethical hackers from across the West African sub-region. The 2023 edition with the theme Building a Secure Digital Future was recently held at the 4 Points by Sheraton Hotel, Victoria Island. Speakers this year were Dr. Bharat Soni, CISO, Guarantee Trust Bank, Mr. Zechariah Akinpelu, CISO, Unity Bank, Mr. Sunday McDixon Samuel, founder and CEO, Samsung Systems Limited, and a host of others. In his presentation, Dr. Soni said that data protection is a major challenge in the metaverse.
Data privacy is something which, again, identity theft too, it's about psychological data, meaning user will be monitored at almost forensic level. What I'm doing, what are my habits, those are still my privacy thing. When I'm sitting into a metaverse environment, I'm behaving like I'm there. That means all my actions are being done. My identity theft will lead me into more, look how I walk, how I feel, what I like, what I eat. That kind of concern are still like we're not looking into those in data privacy in real life, but that will be data privacy issue in metaverse. Cyber attacks, that is unsaid thing. Whenever there is a technology, there will always be cyber attack. Interconnected technology calls for cyber attacks. Cyber attacks is inevitable. How we are going to overcome those? Even DDoS attacks. Like I was just looking into things, malware attack and all those things are possible. When we talk about DDoS attack, just imagine in a metaverse, I will just put thousands of users inside that room, and they are just trying to disturb the room environment. I put 1,000 users, virtual users in this room who are shouting while we are having a conversation here. That is a DDoS attack. Look into the scenario that all those who are into metaverse or the darkverse, I'm using their devices to get into the blueverse kind of thing. So that's again metaverse type of DDoS attack.
Also sharing his thoughts during his presentation, Mr. Samuel said that in cybersecurity, an unknown device is considered a rogue until proven otherwise.
In security, every device you have no idea about is a rogue until proven otherwise. Okay, so devices here does not only mean computers. Devices means anything on the switch fabric, including peripherals, mouse, keyboards. I'll show you how a keyboard was used. A mouse was used to hack a very large organization, in America. And I'll also show you how a USB was used to hack one of the largest nuclear plants in the world. Just a USB. So any devices, either with IP or not IP address. In fact, 90% of the rogue devices, they don't have IP. So your existing tools like NAC, like EDR, like whatever, they have no clue. They are transparent. They don't know. They don't even know they're there. And that is where an attacker can be in your network for years and you have no clue the attacker is there.
Panel session at the summit focused on national security, cyber threats, and governance. Panelists were Dr. Iguapo Eduje, Information Security Officer, Heritage Bank, Mr. Echezona Agubata, Head IT, Union Bank, and others. Moderator of session was Mr. Luleke Olatunji, FSDH, Merchant Bank. Speaking during the panel session, Mr. Gubata noted that the issue of funding is key in cybersecurity.
One of the most critical issues is funding, right? Our politicians of today are very knowledgeable if you look at their history, their background, right? But how they apply these things in governance is a different situation altogether. So it may be difficult selling funding cybersecurity in our nation as a whole at that level. But we also know there are small organizations that cannot afford cybersecurity tools, but yet they need to be secure, right? So these collaborations also need to factor in discussions around how they can fund these things and see how they can centralize some form of protection. For instance, hospitals. right? They have tech ecosystems as well, but they don't have the funding to buy some of the things that they've not even talked about their medical equipment, right? How much more to protect, information around it. So these are a lot more, but I feel funding, collaboration, doing a threat assessment, having a risk management plan, and then having an incident response plan. I think if conversations around this will begin, right, in a concerted effort, I think that's a good place to start.
The second panel session focused on building the necessary infrastructure needed for cybersecurity. Panelists were Dr. Francis Udeliko, Mr. Kunle Isiaka, Mr. Sunday McDison Samuel, and a host of others. The 2023 Cybersecurity Summit was a huge success. It is hoped that policymakers in the West African sub-region will rise to the occasion to some of the solutions preferred at the annual event to better defenses and strategies against the sea of cyber attacks, with billions of dollars being lost to cybercrime annually.
This is my suggestion to the industry, that we allow an open door for innovation by creating an innovation laboratory in the office of the regulator. I got this idea from Singapore, where the Singaporean regulator actually says that, look, the way they have been able to continue to stimulate innovation in the insurance industry is that they just spot ideas and concepts in the laboratory, and there are people that are working on it. But in the meantime, the new products would have been given an approval in principle. So they go to market very quickly. However, they can be recalled. It's like manufacturing a bad product. You have a product recall from a manufacturer. So if a product comes and it is looked at within a period of 1 week and there's nothing fundamentally dangerous about it, it should be allowed to get out. Within a short period of time, the regulator has the power to say, come back, stop that product. We can't allow it to move on. But it allows that flow of innovation, idea generation, and stimulation in the industry. I want to suggest that this is given 1 week from the date of submission to be granted approval in principle to reach the market. I've put the caveat. A defective product can be withdrawn by the regulator at any time. The regulator has powers. The truth is, doing nothing or further tightening regulation will slowly mark the beginning of the end of the industry as we know it. And that's the future that I'm talking about.
That is our time on the program today. Join us same time, same station next week for a fresh package. But in the meantime, feel free as always to connect with us on all our social media platforms. Until same time, same station next week, and from the entire team, it's goodbye.